Shalom friends, welcome to the Ahavat Yisrael podcast, live from Old City Radio in the Old City of Jerusalem.
We're going to take that Tilim with missiles that Hamas is sending to us on a daily basis, add the hay, and turn it into helium.
We're going to give our kids to you, and we're going to make raising them about you.
There's an overwhelming feeling of holiness in the Old City that you can't compare to anywhere else.
Shalom friends, it is good to be back in this holy studio in the middle of the Old City of Jerusalem, where we're trying to get out positive, uplifting messages to our brothers and sisters out there. And we're in the war. We're still in the war, and it's going on too long, and we're losing people, and it's painful. And someone said to me the other day, is this the war of Og and Magog? Is this the final showdown, and is Mashiach coming? And I said, it depends on us, actually. Because we've been through several terrible, traumatic, painful Og and Magog type stuff. And then Mashiach didn't come. So why is that? It's because Mashiach comes if we get the lesson we're meant to get from the pain. And then through that pain, we can have the ultimate redemption and the revelation of godliness. And then we'll see why we had to go through all of it. So it's up to us. If we make it, then it is. And if we don't, then it isn't. And the key, as we've been really saying since the beginning, is achdut. Achdut means unity, loving each other, loving each other. And I'm not a prophet, so I don't know this, but many people have been saying that the reason the war happened was because we've never been so divided as a people. The left and the right, and the religious and the not religious, and the Zionists and the not Zionists, and everyone just arguing and fighting with each other. And that makes us very, 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 very weak. And in fact, apparently at the beginning, there was a Hamas guy, and he said, we saw that they were fighting each other, and when they're fighting each other, we have a chance. And it's an age-old historical issue with the Jewish people. All started maybe the first time when we were standing at Har Sinai, and we were there like Am Echad B'Lev Echad. We're just one nation with one heart. We're all together. Now, it's very important to understand that one nation with one heart means that we are all emotionally connected. That's what a heart is. So we can believe different things and still be emotionally connected. We can still love and respect each other even though we believe different things. And we often share the idea that what are the Jewish people? Because we're not a race, they're different types of Jews, and we're not really a nation even, because nationhood is generally thought of as a land and a language and a culture, and most Jews haven't been to Israel and they don't speak Hebrew. And we're not a religion, even though Judaism is a religion. The Jewish people isn't a religion. Some people are religious, some people are not religious. So what are we? We said this from the beginning, that we're a family. We're literally, not joking, a family. We've been reading it in these parshas recently. Yaakov has 12 tribes, 12 children, and they create the Jewish people. And now we're going down into Egypt. We're going into this very harsh slave existence, but we're this family. And from the family grew the nation. As we left Egypt and we went through that cleansing process, and we crossed the sea, and we arrived at Mount Sinai, we received the Constitution. That's what the Torah is. And then we turned from a family into a nation. The Jewish people, Bnei Yisrael. Many people say that actually before the Torah was given, we weren't even called the Jewish people. We were called Bnei Yisrael, the sons of Israel, the sons of Jacob. And then we became the people, Am Yisrael. So what do we know about families? Families, people are different. They like different things, they want different things, they believe different things. However, we need to be a family who love each other even though we believe different things and we want different things. I'm working with lots of people who are becoming more connected to Torah, and it really scares their family often. They're worried, my child's going to be brainwashed, he's going to get extreme, and he's going to judge me, and he won't eat in my house, and there's all these problems. And I have to speak to many parents, and I say to them, well, the truth is that a child becoming religious actually doesn't split up a family. So they say, that's not true. Like, my sister's son became religious, they don't speak to each other. So I say, yeah, but many, many children become religious and the parents don't become religious and the family stays together. The family still loves and supports and respects each other. So it's not the child becoming religious, it's that the two people are forcing their values on each other and judging each other and putting each other down. So if we do that, then that's going to ruin the relationship. Judging people and saying I'm right and you're wrong and arguing, that's going to ruin the relationship. But just accepting and loving each other and working together and saying, okay, you believe in God, I don't believe in God, that's fine. We can still love and respect each other. That's how we make shalom. Shalom means peace, but peace doesn't mean everyone's doing what I say, even though that might be peaceful. Peace is that we are working together. We're finding our strengths and we're seeing how I can contribute and invest in the relationship. Very famously, we know that the word shamayim, heaven, is made up of the words eish and mayim, fire and water, because fire and water, you'd think they were opposites, but really, when they get together, that's how we cook. We cook with fire and water, and we can make greater things. So I need to be fire, and you need to be water, and that's okay. We're all okay being who we are. And if everyone plays their role and does what they do and respects each other, then we can have a nation. We can have a family. In fact, I just had a chiddush. We went from being a family, Bnei Yisrael, into being a nation after we got the Torah. I think maybe the key is to go back to just being a family again, to see that we're all intrinsically connected, we're all intrinsically related. And Kabbalistically speaking, we know that on the fourth level of our soul, there's just one Jewish soul. There's nefesh, is the lowest level of the soul, the enlivening soul, and then there's the ruach, which is the emotions and the psyche and all that stuff. Then there's the neshama, a pure aspect of infinite consciousness, individual though. But then we're on the higher level, we're the same. There's just one soul. So if we can tap into that. So there is actually a mitzvah called Ahavat Yisrael. There's a mitzvah called to love every Jew. You have to love every Jew. You're not allowed to eat pig. And you're not allowed to turn the TV on Shabbat. And you have to love every Jew. It's a mitzvah. Where do we learn this from? Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. You must love your fellow as yourself. And your fellow means you're Jews. By the way, the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says that ohevet abriot, abrius, which means you have to love creation. So really, it's got to go beyond every Jew to every non-Jew and every tree and animal. We just got to be living on this level of love. And how do we do that? Your neshama is in love with life. It is in love with the world. It's our ego gets in the way. People go against what I want, so I don't love them. Things happen that I don't want, so I get upset with it. But once we get beyond our own ego, and we can tap into a higher conscious space of neshama, then it's easy to love people. We want to give. We want to be there for other people. So there are really three levels. There's giving, which is chesed. Chesed is giving, but not just giving, because giving without love is not called chesed. It's called a mitzvah. It's called very nice, but chesed is translated as loving kindness. So if you're doing something that's kind, but you're not doing it as an expression of your love, or as a way to build love, then it's not called real chesed, because chesed, the higher level, is then something called ahava. Chesed is an expression of love, or it is a means to create love by giving to someone else. And it's much higher than tzedakah, for example. Tzedakah is an obligation. I have to give tzedakah. There's no emotional content in tzedakah. Just give to someone who needs it. Chesed is well above tzedakah, because chesed is beyond obligation. You can also do chesed to rich people. Tzedakah is for poor people. Chesed is for poor people and for rich people. Rich people need loving kindness as well. You can spend time and volunteer your time. So chesed is a much higher level. In fact, the Gemara says there's a tzaddik. A tzaddik is someone who is righteous, does everything right. And a chesed is someone who goes above and beyond. So we're trying to create ahava. Now, by the way, you can make all of your tzedakah a chesed as well. Because if you give tzedakah as an expression of your love or as a way to build love, then it becomes a chesed as well. But we have to be focusing on chesed. What can I give? How can I invest in the relationship? How can I invest in the Jewish people? Very, very important. So we got chesed, which creates ahava. And then ahava, the actual purpose is something called echad, or yichud, which means oneness. That's what we're actually trying to create, to realize we're all one. Love, the gematria of love is 13. The gematria of one is 13. One love. 13 plus 13, 26 is God. God is all about one love. So if we realize that there is only one, then we tap into this immense space of love. So ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha. So there are really 3 levels. My Rabbi speaks about this, of what ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha means. One level, the Ramban speaks about in Vayikra. Ve'ahavta l'recha kamocha means you should love them kamocha, as you love yourself, but it means not as much really, because you can't really love other people as much as you love yourself. You have this intrinsic deep love for yourself. What does that mean? Because some people say, no, I hate myself. Even people who hate themselves, they really hate themselves because they love themselves and they're not living up to what they want to live up to, but it's because they love themselves. So you really care about yourself. That's what it means also to love yourself. I really, really care about myself, and I want good for myself, and I want to be healthy, and I got to take care of myself. I want to look after myself. I want to nurture myself. So the Ramban says we got to love someone else ki'ilu that. We got to treat them as we treat other people, how we want to be treated. Don't do to others what you want to do to yourself. We got to care about them. We got to want them to have money like we want ourselves to have money. We want them to have good like ourselves have good. Love them. Then there's a higher level that the Ramchal, the Mesilas Yesharim, speaks about, which is no. You're actually meant to love them as you love yourself, mamish, truly, actually. And what does that mean and how do you do it? Is what we were talking about before, because they're a piece of yourself. So when someone else gets married and you're a bit jealous and you want to get married, it's very, very hard, by the way. It's an extremely high level to actually be truly happy for someone else. But if you see that someone else as intrinsically part of you, then their joy is your joy. It's great. It's great for them. So if you're getting a foot massage, the whole of you enjoys the foot massage. Why? Because your feet are part of you. So your hands don't get jealous that your feet are getting massaged. So once we see ourselves as just one people, one body, one soul, then we can love someone else as much as we love ourselves. Because really, who does Hashem want to be rich? Me or you? Does it make a difference? I want me to be rich more than I want you to be rich. But Hashem, does he want me to be rich more than you? How does that help the Jewish people as a whole? There's something called the Jewish people. So this actually takes us to the 3rd level. And the 3rd and highest level of V'ahavta l'recha kamocha is actually to love someone more than you love yourself. So how is that possible? What do you mean? No one loves someone more than they love themselves? So my Rabbi brings from the Torah that when Moshe said, if you're going to do anything to the Jewish people, wipe me out. Take me out of your book. So Moshe was saying, I'm not living. I'll give up my life for the Jewish people. So that shows that you can love someone more than you love yourself. A parent loves their child more than they love themselves. If God forbid a child's going to get run over, the parent will jump into the road and save the child and get run over. God forbid. Whatever. Yeah, I'd be willing to give up my life for my children, because I see my children as I love them more than I love myself in a way. I have a responsibility. I look after them. By the way, this is what all the soldiers, nearly 200 soldiers now have died in Gaza. And it shows that they love the Jewish people more than they love their own life. They're willing to give up their life for a higher ideal, for the ideal of the whole Jewish people. We're all individuals, but we're all individuals within this bigger unit. So it's only as part of the unit that we can firstly reach our own ultimate potential. But secondly, it means that there's something more important than my life. Your life, more. I'm not necessarily saying your life one-on-one individual basis, because we know from the Gemara that chayecha kodmin, which means that if you've only got enough water for one person to live, then you should look after yourself first. But when it comes to you against the whole Jewish people, we might say achrei rabim lahatos. We should go with the majority. So I'm willing to give my life up for the majority cause. So these are really our 3 levels. 3 levels, starting with loving someone just practically, wanting the good things for them and caring about them and investing in them. Higher level is understanding that they're a part of you, so their success is your success and their pain is your pain. And then the highest level, which is, you know what, it's even beyond me, it's above me. I love the ideal of the Jewish people much more than I love myself. And these are levels we have to be tapping into. And why am I really speaking about this? And I'm going to speak about this every day now, whenever I come here, because we become unified to some extent. Because of the war, the Charedim have come more center and they're more accepted, and the Chilonim are putting on tefillin, and everyone's like getting closer. We're all getting closer, and we're all trying to understand each other, be there for each other, and the Hasidim are going to pick fruit and vegetables in farms by the border, and they're tying tzitzit, and so there's so much going on. It's great, but it's starting to weaken already a little bit. And if there's elections and people are starting to argue in the course of the war, so if we don't learn our lesson and we don't maintain the achdut, the unity, then Mashiach won't come. It won't be the end. We'll have to go and do it all again. So my yearning, burning message to us is, let's do everything we possibly can to remain unified, to stop judging each other, and just start loving and respecting and valuing each other for who we are. Bezrat Hashem, we should be zeicher.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Old City Radio. Hope to see you again very soon.
Remember, this isn't just information, there's tools and practical wisdom to completely transform your life.